Liberalism is a multifaceted and dynamic political and philosophical ideology that has significantly shaped the modern world. In this comprehensive review, we will delve into the main ideas of liberalism, exploring its historical evolution, key principles, and the impact it has had on society.
Before we dive in, if you find this content valuable, please hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and leave a comment below. It truly helps us grow. Now, let's get started.
Liberalism can be examined through various lenses, such as political liberalism, economic liberalism, and social liberalism, each of which plays a crucial role in the broader liberal tradition. Historical evolution of liberalism. Liberalism, as an ideology, has undergone a series of transformations and adaptations throughout history. Its roots can be traced back to the Enlightenment period of the 17th and 18th centuries, with notable thinkers like John Locke, Jean-Jacques Rousseau, and Voltaire contributing to its development. The Enlightenment thinkers advocated for the primacy of reason, individual rights, and limited government, laying the foundations for many liberal principles. Enlightenment roots. The Enlightenment was a time of intellectual ferment, characterized by a commitment to reason, tolerance, and individual liberty. These values became cornerstones of liberalism, emphasizing the importance of rational thought, freedom of expression, and the protection of individual rights. Classical liberalism. The 19th century saw the emergence of classical liberalism, which emphasized limited government intervention in the economy, property rights, and free trade. Thinkers like Adam Smith and John Stuart Mill promoted the idea that individual freedom, including economic freedom, was a fundamental right. Social liberalism. The late 19th and 20th centuries witnessed the development of social liberalism, which called for state intervention to address social and economic inequalities. Figures like John Maynard Keynes advocated for government involvement in managing the economy and providing social safety nets. Key principles of liberalism. Liberalism is characterized by a set of core principles that serve as the foundation for its various forms and applications. These principles encompass political, economic, and social dimensions. Individual freedom. One of the central tenets of liberalism is the belief in individual freedom and autonomy. Liberals argue that individuals should have the right to make choices about their own lives, free from excessive state interference. This principle emphasizes civil liberties, personal freedoms, and the right to self-determination, equality and justice. Liberalism places a strong emphasis on equality and justice. While there are variations in how liberals interpret these principles, they generally advocate for equal opportunities, protection of minority rights, and a just legal system. Rule of law. The rule of law is a fundamental concept in liberal thought. It implies that all individuals, including those in government, are subject to the law and that the legal system should be fair, impartial, and predictable. Limited government. Liberals generally support the idea of limited government power, advocating for checks and balances to prevent the concentration of authority in any one institution or individual. This principle helps protect individual liberties and prevent potential abuses of power. Market economy. Economic liberalism, a subset of liberalism, supports the idea of a market economy where individuals and businesses have the freedom to engage in economic activities, including buying, selling, and trading. It promotes competition and private property rights. Social welfare. Social liberals believe that government has a role to play in addressing social and economic inequalities. They advocate for social safety nets, public education, and healthcare, among other programs, to provide a basic level of well-being for all citizens. Political liberalism. Political liberalism focuses on the structure and operation of government and the protection of individual rights and civil liberties. Democracy. Liberal democracies are characterized by free and fair elections, the protection of minority rights, and the rule of law. The principle of popular sovereignty, where government derives its legitimacy from the consent of the governed, is central to political liberalism. Civil liberties. Liberals prioritize the protection of civil liberties, such as freedom of speech, religion, and assembly. These freedoms are seen as essential for individual self-expression and participation in public life. Separation of powers. The concept of separating the powers of government into legislative, executive, and judicial branches is fundamental to liberal political theory. This separation helps prevent any single branch from becoming too powerful. Human rights. Liberalism places great importance on the protection of human rights, both domestically and internationally. Universal human rights, including the right to life, liberty, and security, are considered inalienable and should be safeguarded by governments. Economic liberalism. Economic liberalism, often associated with capitalism, focuses on the role of markets and the economy in shaping society. Free market. Economic liberals argue for minimal government intervention in the economy, favoring the operation of free markets. They believe that voluntary exchanges between individuals lead to the most efficient allocation of resources. Property rights. The protection of private property rights is a key element of economic liberalism. This includes the right to own, use, and dispose of property, which is considered essential for economic growth and individual freedom. Competition. Economic liberals contend that competition among businesses and entrepreneurs is essential for innovation and economic growth. They argue that competitive markets lead to better products and services. Minimal regulation. While economic liberals support the idea of a free market, they recognize the need for some regulation to prevent market failures, ensure fair competition, and protect consumers and the environment. Social liberalism. Social liberalism addresses the role of government in addressing social and economic inequalities and promoting the welfare of all citizens. Welfare state. Social liberals advocate for a robust welfare state that provides essential services such as health care, education, and unemployment benefits. This safety net is intended to ensure that all citizens have access to a basic standard of living. Progressive taxation. To fund social welfare programs, social liberals often support progressive taxation, where those with higher incomes pay a higher percentage of their earnings in taxes. This is seen as a way to redistribute wealth and reduce income inequality. Equality of opportunity. Social liberals emphasize the importance of equal opportunities for all individuals, regardless of their background. They seek to address systemic inequalities and provide a level playing field for everyone. Environmental protection. Many social liberals are concerned about environmental issues and support policies aimed at mitigating climate change and protecting the natural environment for future generations. The impact of liberalism on society. Liberalism has had a profound impact on societies worldwide. Its influence can be seen in the development of democratic institutions, the spread of individual rights, and the growth of market economies. Democratic governance. Liberalism has played a pivotal role in the spread of democratic governance, where citizens have the power to elect their leaders and participate in the political process. Liberal democracies are now the dominant form of government globally. Human rights. The promotion of human rights, a core principle of liberalism, has contributed to the international recognition and protection of basic rights. International organizations like the United Nations work to uphold these rights. Market economies. Liberal economic principles, such as free markets and property rights, have driven economic growth and prosperity in many countries. Capitalism, rooted in economic liberalism, has become the dominant economic system. Social safety nets. Social liberalism has led to the establishment of social safety nets in many countries, providing support to those in need and reducing poverty and inequality. Progressive social change. Liberalism has been an engine for progressive social change. It has contributed to advancements in civil rights, gender equality, and LGBTQ+ rights, as liberals have advocated for equal treatment and non-discrimination. Cultural pluralism. Liberalism has also encouraged the recognition and celebration of cultural diversity. The belief in individual autonomy extends to cultural practices and identity, fostering a more inclusive and tolerant society. Scientific and technological progress. Liberal societies have generally been at the forefront of scientific and technological advancements. The encouragement of innovation and the protection of intellectual property rights have spurred progress in various fields. Challenges and criticisms. Despite its many positive contributions, liberalism is not without its challenges and criticisms. Some argue that it can lead to economic inequality, market failures, and a lack of social cohesion. Others contend that it can prioritize individualism to the detriment of community values. Globalization. Liberal economic principles have fueled globalization, resulting in increased international trade and interconnectedness. While this has led to economic growth, it has also raised concerns about job displacement and the erosion of cultural identities. Environmental concerns. The pursuit of economic growth and individual freedoms, often associated with liberalism, has also led to environmental challenges. Climate change and resource depletion are global issues that some attribute to unregulated capitalism. Balancing individualism and collectivism. Striking the right balance between individualism and collectivism remains a central challenge for liberal societies. The tension between personal freedom and collective responsibility is an ongoing debate in liberal democracies. Contemporary debates within liberalism. Contemporary liberal thought is not monolithic, and there are ongoing debates about the interpretation and application of liberal principles. Some of the prominent debates within liberalism include economic inequality. Liberals continue to grapple with the issue of economic inequality. While economic liberalism supports market-driven growth, social liberals argue for measures to reduce income disparities. Freedom of speech. The concept of free speech is a contentious issue, with debates about the boundaries of expression and whether certain forms of speech, such as hate speech, should be restricted. Individual rights versus group rights. The tension between individual rights and group rights, such as the rights of cultural or religious minorities, remains a significant point of debate within liberalism. Globalization and nationalism. Liberalism's promotion of globalization has clashed with the rise of nationalism in some countries, sparking debates about the balance between international cooperation and national sovereignty. Privacy and surveillance. In the digital age, questions about government surveillance, data privacy, and individual liberties have become increasingly important, challenging the liberal commitment to personal freedom. Environmental responsibility. The role of liberalism in addressing environmental challenges is a subject of debate, with questions about how to reconcile economic growth with environmental sustainability. Liberalism is a complex and multifaceted ideology with a rich history and a profound impact on modern society. Its core principles of individual freedom, equality, and limited government have shaped political, economic, and social systems around the world. While liberalism has been instrumental in advancing democracy, human rights, and economic prosperity, it also faces ongoing challenges and criticisms related to inequality, environmental sustainability, and cultural identity. As liberalism continues to evolve and adapt to the changing dynamics of the world, it remains a critical force in shaping the political and social landscape. Understanding the main ideas, historical evolution, and contemporary debates within liberalism is essential for engaging in informed discussions about the future of our societies and the values that underpin them.